Hello everyone, Ramadan Kareem. I hope you're having a good time as much as you can. Um, I would like to say thank you to Malika who suggested that I talk about how to lose weight. Um, but before I start, I want to say something in French. Si vous voudrez avoir cette présentation en français, dites-moi. Euh, si vous proposez pour faire la traduction, on peut faire ensemble pour faire tout ça en français, mais en ce moment, je n'ai pas beaucoup de temps pour faire tout ça en français encore. Ouais, je suis très occupée, désolée. Alors, ça c'est pourquoi j'ai téléchargé la présentation en anglais. Vous pouvez utiliser le Google pour traduire tous les mots, tout le texte aussi. Okay, so there's so many things that I could say, and I could talk about this for days, probably, maybe months even. So I know that I'm not gonna say everything, and it's probably impossible to say everything. I'm gonna try and say most of the things. But first things first, I wanna say that I'm not a nutritionist, I'm a yoga teacher and a massage therapist. I'm not a doctor. If you have any medical issues, you should first talk to your doctor. If you have any mental issues, talk to your psychologist or psychiatrist. And another thing as well, whatever I give you here in this presentation, don't take it for granted. Use it as an inspiration, as some ideas, and maybe just kind of suggestion what you can do the research about. All right, so do your own research. It's the most important thing. Also try to look at the dates on the information that you find, so that you don't base your judgment on the old science or old studies, old facts, right? There has been a lot of progress in the past decades, so make sure you understand what's new. Okay, so after this, I think the most important thing here is the red buttons, which are around the truth. So the truth is that there are no secrets. All right, don't be hopeful that you will find an Instagram post or a YouTube video or some kind of magic product that will help you lose weight. If they tell you this, they are lying. It's good marketing. Don't fall for that. All right. The only person who can do things is you. There is no other person who can sell you anything and give you less weight. The way you gain the weight, they did not gain the weight for you. You did it yourself. So you need to lose it. All right. We're going to talk about the words and how actually you're going to starting to think in a different way. So don't stop looking for quick fix. Stop looking for the secrets. There are no secrets. Okay, this is probably the most important thing. After this, if you realize this, you can go close your laptop or phone or whatever and start from zero. This is the most important thing for you, all right? I hope you will rewatch this and go back to the presentation again and again as a reference, and please don't forget this. All right, so don't fall for good marketing. All right. The second thing is there is no spot reduction. What does spot reduction mean? So whenever you see a video, 5 exercises to lose belly fat, 10 ways how to reduce your waistline, all of these are also good marketing. There is no way, there is no scientific evidence, proof, any kind of reliable research that said that you can actually lose only the fat around your waist, not here, not here, just there. There's nothing like that, okay? If you lose fat, your body is going to decide where it's going to lose the fat, all right? So please, just stop thinking like that, all right? It's the 21st century. People have done a lot of research. As I said, do your research and do it a little bit deeper to understand the science as well, not just not just nice titles or words that sound attractive. All right, so if you're going to lose weight, you can do it in many different ways. If you're going to lose fat, you can do it in only one way. All right, and we're going to get to that. Okay, so what do we have here? We have the physiological side of losing fat, or losing, let's say, losing weight. All right, let's still call it like that. So it means on the functional, on the body level, right? How are we gonna do this? This is a little bit scientific, all right? So maybe medically, we're gonna look at the numbers. Behaviorally, how are you gonna lose fat or lose weight? This is a little bit psychological, all right? There are some steps, let's call them, or strategies that you can employ to sort this problem out from that side. So as you can see, this is not going to be an answer, right? That's going to take 1 minute. This is going to take a little bit longer because you need to understand what it is that you want to do first, right? And what it takes, what it is, how do we even lose weight? And there's also the important aspect of the behavior as well. And then you can see here, start now. We're going to come back to that at the end. So after we do the physiology and the behavioral aspect, I'm going to show you, I'm going to talk about the exercise and the myths about the, well, let's call them myths, certain truths about the exercise as well. All right, my pillow keeps moving. So let's dive into the physiology part. So the traditional view, I would call it the 20th century view of how to lose weight, is connected to calories, right? What we do is we create a caloric deficit. We think that the body needs a certain amount of calories to basically function in that particular day, and we need to satisfy that minimum. And then if we want to lose weight, we have to have less, we have to eat less calories than maybe that, or if we move and we spend some calories, then we eat less than that. So what does that mean? For example, let's say that your minimum caloric intake is 1,500 calories. And then let's say that you do regular exercise 3 times a week, and let's say that this means that you need to take in 2,000 calories every day. So with your lifestyle, if you want to lose weight, you need to take less than 2,000 calories. All right. So this approach is basically focused on the amount of food, right, that you have on your plate. For example, to reduce the quantity of the food, right? Of course, certain foods have more calories than the others. So the quantity of vegetables will be bigger than the quantity of pasta, right? Or cheese even, right? But we cannot say that, for example, 500 calories of this big plate is actually the same as satisfying as the 500 calories of what you can fit into the palm of your hand, right? A few nuts, maybe some dried fruits, and maybe a little bit of chocolate, or a toffee, candy maybe. So it's not this kind of, so they say that if you eat 500 calories, then it doesn't matter. But it's not really just 500 calories, right? You can already see that there must be something else, something more, right? So, for example, what people usually do, they get into this rabbit food diet, right? So they get these little handfuls of portions of calories. You are reducing the calories, and then on the other hand, you are eating such a little amount of food. And then, for example, if you want to eat something sweet like um, ice cream, right, or cake, that's gonna be like at least half of your daily caloric allowance. So of course you're not gonna like it. Of course you're not gonna be able to sustain this kind of diet. And of course it's not gonna be, it's gonna leave you unsatisfied, right? uh, Physically and emotionally you're gonna be weak, and you will hate this diet. It's gonna last maybe 1 week, 2 weeks, maximum 3 weeks. You're gonna go back and you're gonna regain all the weight that you actually lost, because most of the weight that you lost was actually water weight, because you didn't eat as many um, water consisting foods, like, for example, vegetables, like juicy fruit, and things that are kind of voluminous. So yeah, so concentrating on weight is dangerous, right? So you don't want to lose 5 kilos every week. Let's say that you want to lose 20 kilos, all right? And you've had these 20 kilos for 20 years. Or let's be realistic. Let's say you want to lose 10 kilos that you gained in the last 5 years, all right? So if it took you 5 years to gain 10 kilos, do you think it's going to take you 5 weeks to reduce all of that, because you have 10 kilos of fat extra. You don't just have 10 kilos of water or muscle weight, right? So do your own research. Try to understand how this fat burn actually works. How do we burn these fat cells, right? So if you concentrate on weight, if you step on the scale every day, you're going to see that maybe it drops a little bit and you will want it more and more. You will be discouraged and you will think, oh, I work out, so hard. Well, you're building your muscles and you're gaining weight. The fact that you might be losing a little bit of fat does not mean that you are actually losing weight. So this is something that you must think about when you say, I want to lose weight. Do you really want to lose weight, or do you want to stay in the same kind of weight range, but maybe with a leaner body? Maybe you want to just lose the fat, you know, the layers of fat, lose fat, not lose weight. There is a little bit of a difference. All right, so I wrote here to step on the scales once a month. Yeah, and it's probably better to actually look at your clothes, to measure yourself, right? Which can also be deceiving in some areas of your body. But probably just take a black and white picture of yourself wearing always the same thing, maybe a bikini, and then like every week try to do that. Make a selfie from the same angle, with the same pose, with the same light, and then you will be able to judge if you are losing or not. Okay, so if you choose to follow this path, I added here a link to the online calorie calculator. You're going to calculate your the basal metabolic rate. So this is like the minimum calories that you need during your every day. And then based on your exercise, your daily routine, they're going to sort of, you know, give you an estimate how many calories you should take if you want to maintain, if you want to gain weight, or if you want to actually lose weight. And then they're going to give you, if you want to lose half a kilo every week, if you want to lose 1 kilo every week. It's a neat thing. You're gonna get some nice things there. You're gonna find it's a very good tool to use. All right. So when it comes to calories, actually, there's an excellent show. I like it a lot because it teaches you a lot about also the behavior around food, and it's not only the caloric, but they use the caloric approach, where they restrict the calories of each person, and then after 6 to 8 weeks they actually lose weight, right? But it's a funny show. It's very educational. You're going to learn some tricks how to avoid bad habits of overeating as well. So you have a link here for that. Very funny. I like the show a lot. Okay, so let's take a look at the other side here, the hormones. What's this about? This is the most complicated part of this story, and this is something that has been trending in the past decade. Certain doctors actually made studies saying that it's not the calories that count in the body weight maintenance, let's call it like that, or body weight control, but it is the levels of certain hormones that, because of our eating habits, we do not let to adjust themselves in a healthy way. So this brings me to the talk about the glycemic index. And if you know someone who has diabetes, you have probably heard this phrase. So it's not about, for example, whether you choose the 500 calorie, I don't know, portion of a watermelon, which is more than 1.5 kilos, or if you choose a 5-calorie milk chocolate, right? Which is only 100 grams. It's also about their glycemic index. So if your insulin spikes up very quickly after you eat this thing, right? This sends out the sign, the message to the body to actually start storing the fat, because we are having a lot of energy now, so it's good to store because maybe we're not going to have it later, right? Instead of having that, it's better to actually eat food with lower glycemic index, and then the insulin goes slowly, 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 slowly up. It doesn't disrupt this mechanism that needs to store energy. I'm not a doctor. I cannot teach you about this thing. What I know is my personal experience, the observation, and the informal research I have done online. And the problem is the constant snacking. If you eat every 2, 3, 4 hours, your insulin doesn't have the time to drop, right? So you're keeping it up all the time. This keeps your body inflamed, right? The sugar in the body, it's not what we want, right? So try to understand this in a deeper way. And I think that if you understand, you're gonna also sort of make that switch, right? That will help you behave in a different way. All right. So for that reason, I attached the video here, which you can watch. I'm not going to play it now because it doesn't make any sense. You're going to watch it on your own time. The video is quite long. I advise you to watch at least first 30 minutes, but the whole it's just, I don't know, maybe to call it revolutionary is too much, but it's an eye-opening interview. You're gonna learn a lot, and you're gonna understand a lot, and I hope this will help you change your mind and the way you look at food as well. All right, so before we move on, I just want to make sure that you understand with these two calories and hormones approach that both of them actually agree that you should drink a lot of water, you should stay active, whether it means just walking, playing basketball with your kids, I don't know, swimming, whatever, right? Playing golf. But you see, the fruits and vegetables are half of your plate, half of your daily intake. So stick with that. And nowadays, nobody's even talking about, you see, they say healthy protein. They don't say red meat or white meat, because we know that there is protein in algae, there's healthy protein in beans, in lentils. Chickpeas are an excellent also source of healthy protein. So for us vegetarians, it's kind of very nice when even the sort of the mainstream is kind of phasing out this meat out of the equation, you know. So yeah, nuts, huh? Excellent source of protein, but also very high in calories. So be careful with that. Okay, of course, drink a lot of water. And the whole grains. So we don't have that old pyramid where they told us you should eat bread, should be like half of your daily intake. No, limit that as well to, you see, about a quarter, and probably whole grains. I'm going to talk about that as well. All right, this is another the old-fashioned pyramid, but of course it has changed from the one that we had in the 20th century. So you see, in this one they even advise vitamin D because we don't get enough sunlight, right? That's also one of the major elements in the weight loss or fat loss, if you want. Okay, so they both agree on what's healthy, what's not healthy, right? So if you want to lose weight in an unhealthy way, make sure you understand what you are doing and why. All right, I have something here, especially for my Moroccan friends, because now is the beginning of Ramadan, and I know you're gonna be tempted. So where do we start? Okay, so first of all, what you are doing is intermittent fasting. During intermittent fasting, we allow the body to have these at least 12 hours of rest, so not taking any food, which should be actually 16 to 18. Some people even do it 20. So the first thing you should Google probably is intermittent fasting. This is a big thing. I hope it's not just going to be one of those popular trends, but it is connected to this hormonal approach, so that you actually allow the insulin to drop and all the other hormones to adjust and do their own thing. All right, but what happens during Ramadan? I have had, I think, almost 15 Ramadans, maybe a little bit less. So I have observed quite a lot of behavior. I have done some myself. I do the fasting, as you know, but my fasting is not the Ramadan fasting. So what happens during Ramadan is you don't drink water during the day. You're very thirsty, and that makes you even more hungry. After the futur, after iftar, you tend to eat some bread and, you know, like highly refined carbohydrates, so that your insulin level, so, you know, the glycemic index, with the high glycemic index, so the insulin level spikes up. And then when it drops drastically, you feel very tired, right? You fall asleep. And then you feel even more hungry next day because of this up and down, right? All right. What's the other thing that happens during Ramadan? Yes, because you're very hungry, you tend to eat more than you normally would during a normal lunch, for example, or dinner, right? So you choose to have big portions. This happens especially in the first, let's say, 10 days of Ramadan. How many calories are there on your plate? Do you know? You will never know, because you usually take um, from the communal plates, right? There are many uh, uh, shared dishes, right, on the table, and then everybody takes a little bit of everything, right, and a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more. So you don't actually have an idea of how much you have eaten. And because the hormones are not working properly, you don't have this system, this mechanism that tells you, hey, okay, you had enough. So either take one plate as big as your head, put your food there, and don't eat more than that, right? That's it. Or you can time yourself that half a plate now and half a plate in half an hour, all right? So there are ways of getting around this. Yes, and then there's one more thing I've seen that a lot of people tend to eat. Yeah, I know about the dates. Dates are great, that dates are excellent, but one date has 65 calories. If you eat 10 dates, that's like almost half of your daily calorical allowance, right? It depends on how much you wanna, how much, how active you are, how much you weigh. So let's say, for example, one tablespoon of honey is also 60, right? It's like sugar. Honey has even more calories than sugar. Foof. What's foof? It's um, flour, right? Oil and nuts, all very high in calories. Um, Spoof, I did a little bit of research. I found, but it depends, right? Which kind of flour you're using, which kind of oil, how much, what is the percentage of what. Uh, it can be around 250 calories for 100 grams. That means that one spoon of spoof is about 40, let's say 40 to 50 calories. So it means that if you take 5 spoons of spoof, one, 2 spoons of honey, so this is 100 calories, 100, and 2 spoon and 2 dates, it brought you to 300 calories, right? And this is just before you even, just so that it gets you going. So be just mindful about how caloric your food is. Yes. Oh, okay. So this one is, I don't know what to tell you about this one. I know that iftar and suhoor are almost, you can say, as sacred as Ramadan. But try to understand that as soon as you allowed yourself to actually reach this restorative stage of sleep, right? You wake up and you get in some more food. You disrupt the cycle, right? Um, it's not, unless you are actually like the Libyans, unless you are awake the whole night, then it makes sense to have suhoor. But if you fall asleep, just have food before, have suhoor before you go to sleep, and then go to sleep, which is not even a good idea. But anyway, you're gonna find out when you do your research. I don't want to, it's just about these it doesn't make any sense, right? If you have suhoor, if you really, really, really have to have it, choose low glycemic index foods. Something that you can actually, something that's not going to spike your insulin, at least. Okay, so the question is, will I lose weight because I fast during Ramadan? The answer is, yeah, you will lose weight, but what kind of weight will you lose? Will you lose your fat weight, or will you lose your water weight? You're probably going to lose the water weight. So at least the first 10 days, when the body sort of adjusts itself to this rhythm. And then afterwards, it depends actually on your food choices, on your portion sizes, and on how frequently you're gonna eat during Ramadan. Okay, so we've covered the physiological part of the problem. Okay, if you remember, we were here, right? So now we're gonna take the behavioral part of the problem. Okay, so there are three main things to talk about here. It is the constant eating, the overeating, and eating junk food. I think these are the main issues of the people. And as well here, I've got a nice suggestion, also very fun. It's a little bit depressing though, but very realistic and also interesting show, also British. That's called, what does it called? Make My Body Younger. Yes. So they take people who are usually in their 20s, right, with really, really bad habits. I mean, there's going to be some things that you might be shocked. Uh, and they change their behavior, right? So it's all about how you're changing your behavioral patterns. Uh-oh, no, I don't want that. Okay, so this guy eats the kebabs too much. All right. So you're gonna watch this one, and I hope you're gonna enjoy it and learn a lot from it as well. All right. So what do we need to understand? Uh, when we say, "Oh, I can't stop eating," why? Who is forcing you to eat? Who is actually this I who cannot stop, right? So the other side of this understanding is that when you tell yourself, I want to lose fat, so imagine saying, I want to lose 100 dirham, I want to lose my bed, I want to lose my car. Is that a nice thing to say? Nobody wants to lose anything. So this you who cannot stop eating doesn't want to lose anything. So try to trick this you, or this I who doesn't want to lose weight, try to trick it in saying, I want to achieve something positive, right? I want to be able to run for 10 minutes without panting, right? I want to run a mini marathon. I don't advise running, but anyway, you have your choice. Whatever, right? I want to be healthy. Um, I want to fit into my old jeans, for example. This can be a nice goal, but this doesn't say I want to lose, right? Another thing that you're telling yourself by saying I want to lose something, or even a little bit with this, I want to fit into my old jeans, is that you're not happy with yourself where you are now, right? So if I'm not happy with myself, well, then at least I can enjoy the food, right? This is this vicious cycle that people are caught up in. So you need to find something that's going to turn this around, and you're going to focus your direction towards, I want to be able to walk to, I don't know, Mehdiya, for example. So the first day you start, you get to Ledujih. Okay, so what do I need to do in order to be able to walk to Mehdiya? and back, huh? Walk there. It's a little bit easy, but walking back up that hill, huh? That could be a little bit of a challenge. All right. So the next thing you need to understand is, why do you even want to do this? Is there a reason? Is there a good reason? And what is this reason, right? So be honest with yourself. This is the most important thing. Some people write this goal on their wall, right? There are many different weird things you can do. But I think that the best thing is what I told you at the beginning. There are no secrets. Just understand this and don't search for any shortcuts, right? Commit yourself to this and say, this is what I am, right? This is the person that I am, and I am doing this, all right? And this defines me. Because once or twice I talked about the difference between motivation and discipline. Motivation is emotional. Emotions, hormones, you know, there are those days in a month that you don't feel very motivated. If you don't have the discipline, if you don't identify yourself with, yes, I'm a marathon runner, so I need to run, all right? I'm a marathon runner, so I need to eat this and that so that I can be ready to run. I'm a marathon runner, so I need to do the stretching and a little bit of a weightlifting so that I can go and run the marathon, right? So this is the discipline. This is not the motivation, all right? So you need to create some kind of system or a mental trick that will help you go through those difficult days. And don't think that those days are not going to come. There will be days that you're going to say, I don't want to get out of my bed. I just want to stay there. But I'm a marathon runner. I cannot stay in bed, right? It is not an option. That's it, right? Sounds simple. I know it's not, but you know, just try to look at it from that perspective. Okay, and then when you have this system of strategies, so the strategy is the big one, right? And the system is the small steps that will lead you, that will follow the strategy, right? So break it down to small steps. For example, you want to lose weight, right? You want to lose fat because you like sweets. So whenever you go out to a restaurant, you always eat a dessert. Whenever you go to a friend's house, you eat the cake, or you go to the bakery and you buy their cake and you take it to your friend's house. Or when your friends are coming, you buy the cake and, well, start making your own cake. Start thinking, can I replace this white sugar with something else? Start thinking, can I maybe put another kind of flour in this cake? Start thinking, well, maybe instead of this much butter, I can maybe put a little bit less butter. Or maybe I can put just grapeseed oil, all right? So with time, when you start changing these habits of going out and buying things, first of all, you're going to spend calories on doing it, right? Secondly, you're going to learn a new skill. You're going to learn how to do it. You're going to be more skillful. Third, once you do it, you can show it, right? Show it to your friends. Give the cake to your friend, right? And say, I did this. It's delicious, right? And you can tell her, it has half the calories that the usual cake, right? That I buy for you. So then you can teach your friend, right? how to do it. All right. So try and do these little things that will be new, right? So new habits. I'm gonna come to that a little bit later. All right. So this is actually one of the keys in in your behavior, right? Making healthy choices, making healthy decisions. So you need to know that this much white sugar is, I don't know how many calories, but it's not good because this and that, and it's better to use, let's say, brown sugar or stevia, or I don't know, coconut sugar, or some other replacement. All right. So even then, yeah, so we basically want to avoid flour, white sugar, table salt, white rice, and white potatoes. Sweet potatoes are always much better. So even if once a month you go to your friend's birthday party, if throughout the month you have made good choices for yourself, you can actually have that cake. You can even have 2 pieces of that cake. You can even kill yourself with that cake. It doesn't matter. It's not going to affect your trend because your hormones are now in balance, and they know that they don't need to absorb that much the day after. You're just not gonna eat that much, right? You're gonna eat less. You're gonna maybe eat only once the day after, just so that you sort of balance it out. So you will have the tools even to enjoy this without guilt. You will have the capability of eating the whole pizza, right? Or having pancakes, as many as you like. But it's not going to be every day, right? It cannot be every day. Your every day is, I'm a marathon runner. After I run a marathon, of course you're gonna celebrate. It doesn't matter, right? You have run a marathon. So don't be too hard on yourself. It's about changing the habits, not about punishing yourself. Okay. And this avoiding thing is something I started talking about earlier. So basically, how do you avoid snacking all the time, or thinking about food, or being hungry? Oh, I have to. How? You learn something new. Try to think about when you were young, what did you want to learn? And this is a perfect time. First of all, it's Ramadan. Even if you do work, you're going to work less. Secondly, there's the lockdown. You don't go out of the house after 6 o'clock. You are at home most of the time. Use this time. Go online. You can learn, you can take an online course. You can learn, there are plenty of videos, tutorials on YouTube on anything you want to learn, right? Do it, okay? Learn it. Start doing it. Become better at it. Teach others how to do it. Make a performance, right? Show the product of your work, all right? And then you're going to start thinking about the next project and the next project and the next project. And then you're going to share this with others. And they will not see you as the overeater. They will see you as the designer, or whatever you are doing that is new and that makes you happy. All right. So really try to use this time to this is a perfect time to change the bad habits. Okay, I think I have talked enough about this. Let's go back to the exercise. Okay, All right, so why do we exercise? Okay, so the fat cells do not turn into muscle cells. They just don't. The process is much more complicated, and you can learn this as well. But don't think that because you are doing this now, the fat from here is going to go into the tissue through the fascia. Somehow it's going to transform in a completely different cell into the muscle tissue that is underneath. This does not happen, okay? This does not happen. Please, whenever you see that someone is thinking like that, tell them you're living in a fantasy world. There are no unicorns, and the fat does not turn into muscle. That's it, okay? That's the truth. So why do we need the exercise? We don't need the exercise to lose fat, okay? You can lose fat by just reducing your calories and by not munching all the time. You can lose fat by having 3 balanced meals and healthy meals, and just, you know, like not sitting for 12 hours a day, kind of standing and walking slowly, all right? But we still need to be active. Why? All right, so there are the happy hormones that get released, secreted with the exercise, all right? So the more you exercise, the happier you're gonna feel, all right? So this is gonna give you this feeling of, yeah, this feels good, okay? Maybe half an hour later, all right? The second thing is that if you, exercise is basically one of the good habits, right? So this can give you a sense of achievement and the progression, right? After a month, you're gonna see, oh, this was so difficult at the beginning. Now I can do double, all right? So it's also good ego boost, we can say, all right? This, in my opinion, is probably one of the most important aspects of exercise, is to basically gain muscle, right? And see, you can see that I have a muscle here, right? We call it the muscle definition or the muscle tone, right? So the muscles get a shape, and a good shape, right? Then we get strength, so we can maybe carry some things. We become more functional in our lives, and we get endurance. This means that our cardiovascular health becomes improved, all right? Another thing why we do the exercise is that the lymphatic system is not powered by the pulse like the vascular system, cardiovascular system. So you can only drain your lymph by either by touch, right? What we do in the massage, right? Or by movement, okay? So when you move, this means that all the toxins from the body, because the body is a big detoxifier, they get eliminated easier, right? They don't get built up in the fascia or between the fibers or something in the fibers, all right? Or in the lymphatic nodes, basically, is what happens. Then we get the lymphatic nodes inflammation. Terrible. All right. Mobility and flexibility, so that we can actually really stretch, and we can we don't have to feel like, oh, I have an ache because I just got up from my chair, right? So you know, you become your joints become more flexible, and also protected, because we have strong muscles, right? The joints and the bones don't have to carry the whole body anymore. They don't have to take the weight of whatever we are doing and in whichever position we are, because the muscles are now the major support of the body. And I'm sure that there are more reasons. I'm sure you can find your own reason why you do exercise, but I suppose that the social aspect of the exercise is also important to mention, especially if you do one of the group sports. And this is something that can actually keep um, maintaining your good habit, right? If you make it social, if you do it with the people you like, right? It can be anything from golf, tennis, you know, simple walking around the park, also a type of activity, right? Badminton at the beach, whatever. Okay, so the last thing now in this long presentation is how do you start? Okay, so of course we come back to food, right? So food is the first thing we need to make sure we understand, make better decisions of what you eat, right? So make sure you understand that it's better to eat foods with a lower glycemic index. Um, you can choose to eat, to have the substitutes, right? You see, you even have some nice alternatives here. For example, you know, I think that the picture tells it all. I don't even have to say anything about this. Yeah, okay, let's move on. This is the same thing, the same idea, different picture. You can see how much good food you can eat. What I would like to draw your attention to here is the colors, all right? And if this numbers and calories, if this is too much for you, if you cannot think in that way, at least think in the colors. How many colors? Remember that plate that I showed you divided in 4 parts? How many colors are you eating? All right? You want to eat more than 3 colors. 5 would be ideal. All right? So try to make healthy choices. Choose the better food. How do you eat? Of course. Do you eat 10 times a day? Do you eat on your feet? Do you eat quickly, right? And just gulp down the food? Yeah, so all of these things are actually important in in your weight loss, or I want to call it fat loss. All right. Um, so try to also avoid snacks. Yes, what I haven't said about the snacks, if you have a sweet tooth and if you want to have some sweets, right, as a snack, try to eat a dessert after lunch or after dinner. Have a dessert. Have your cake, have your chocolate, whatever, right? Try to, if you have a choice, try to do the healthy one. Have sugar after meals, all right? This will make you less craving for some sweets in 3 or 4 hours, right? And then even if you do, you're gonna think, wait, I had cake for dessert, so now let me just have some fruit. All right, so this is how you can actually get around this. All right, and another thing is, how do you prepare your food? Of course, we know that deep fried, coat fried, it depends on what your coating is as well, is not really advisable. But what I would also suggest is that you avoid using the pressure cooker, the kukut, huh? We call it in Morocco, because it's just going to burn a lot of vitamins and minerals. The food is not going to be as healthy as you think. It's going to be drained of all the goodness. Perhaps something that I didn't say here, that I didn't mention here is, and this is why I have the fruit here, don't eat fruit after the meal. The fruit is a snack, and we usually eat it half an hour before the meal, all right? Just because it's gonna keep your sort of it's gonna ferment, right? The fruits get digested much quicker than some more complicated food. So that means that the fruit ferments in your intestines while the other food is being absorbed. So it's not a good environment, right, for your stomach, not the stomach, but your intestines. So it's going to lead to inflammation. So fruit half an hour before lunch, or about 4 hours after, all right? But not as dessert. This is something very important. Okay, yes, so try to avoid, if you are having smoothies, understand that this is not a drink, this is a food, all right? If you're having fruit juices, understand this is not a drink, this is food, okay? It's so easy to drink 10 apples, right? But it's very hard to eat them. So eat your calories, but drink just water. Prepare yourself some nice herbal tea. Yeah. Oh yeah, there is the ginger drink, right? The ginger tea. You can add some cinnamon to it, turmeric, whatever is whatever tastes nice. Not honey, not sugar. Okay, drink that in the morning. Half a liter, let's say. Start with half a liter. You can drink it like every day, maybe for a few weeks. See how it goes. Whenever you have ginger, try to chop a little, just piece like this big, and into, let's say, half a liter of water. Yeah, maybe you can add some lemon afterwards. But if you just drink ginger, it's not gonna break your fast anyway. I mean, if you're intermittent fasting, sorry. Now it's good to probably drink it at futur, right? So the first thing you do, don't drink milk, drink the ginger drink. Okay, then we come to walking. So let's assuming that you are actually starting now, all right? Walking for lymphatic drainage, for being exposed to the sun, for breathing some fresh air, and for movement of the joints. It's a low intensity exercise that anyone can do, and anyone should be able to walk unless you have a disability, right? So get some good shoes and get walking. All right. Sleep. It is crucial, right? Even if your nutrition is so, if you don't get good quality sleep, everything is useless, because you're not regenerating your body. If you sleep with your mouth open, for example, this might also be a problem. So make sure you don't snore. Make sure that that you're not doing the things with your, like clenching your jaw um, or breathing with the open mouth during the sleep. These can all affect the depth of the sleep, all right? So make sure you consult your doctor if you have problems with sleep. Sleep apnea is very dangerous, and this can also lead to being overweight. Okay. And the last thing, of course, is the exercise. Now we know why we do it. It's a good habit. It will show you how you're progressing. Your physique is going to start changing. Your metabolism is going to speed up, right? But when you are starting, don't run, don't jump, don't do anything heavy that's going to overload your joints that are not prepared for this, right? So always some beginners yoga is very good, or the stretching that we do with the stomach, right? So you want your stomach to be stretching, not contracting, right? And the sides as well, the obliques, right? You wanna be stretching them, right? So that this the tissue gets moved a little bit and woken up, all right? So that the fascia is going to start reshaping. This is also a part of the equation in the weight or fat loss, because your body is taking a different shape. So you want the fascia to be able also to change itself. Maybe you can take some collagen supplements as well to help your joints and fascia to be a little bit more flexible. Okay, so this brings me to the end. You start with the discipline. It is a crucial thing. If you keep on doing this for 1 week or 2 weeks, and then when your motivation drops, you stop, you haven't done much, right? But you need to find a change that's gonna keep on that you will keep in long term, right? Not just for a month or for 2 months or until summer, not until next year, right? But until forever, all right? And when you have discipline, you need to have consistency, right? So even when you have consistency, you can have those little let's call them treats as well. I don't like using the word cheat days, because it means that you're doing something bad, right? It's better to say you're treating yourself. Even this is not like, why is chocolate a treat and an avocado isn't? Why is cake a treat and raspberries aren't? For me, raspberries are much bigger treat, or for example, cherries. I can't wait for the cherries to come, all right? Oh, the papayas. Okay, I've had so many papayas this year. It's incredible. All right, so let me just wrap this up, this long talk. Understand the physiology of losing fat, rephrase this question into how to lose fat, or how to become healthier, or how to get good habits, all right? So the question itself is not really a good question. Sorry, Malik. And then you need to understand yourself and what your weakest link is, all right? Understand why we do the exercise. Remember, do your own research. If you have any problems, consult your doctor about this. The most important thing is, don't look for quick fixes, all right? You need to have discipline and consistency. And don't think that If you're not losing fat around your belly, you're not losing fat. This is probably the last place that the fat is going to drop off, especially if you're like in your 40s or even more, all right? So it's hormonal. You can leave a little bit of fat there. You're not gonna go for the Miss Universe competition, okay? There's not anything bad about the fat if it's within the certain range, all right? So so make sure you understand that, all right? Happy Ramadan. I hope I hope this was not too much. Even if it was too much information, you can rewatch. You can also refer back to the presentation that I already posted in our group. So also, I know I haven't mentioned everything. If you still have any questions, ask me. I can also refer you to some sources, but do your own research. And I hope you're gonna be successful.